Hey everybody, welcome to Who Gives a Shit, the podcast that asks the most important question.
Who gives a shit?
So, CJ, it's a sad day, huh?
It's a very sad day. I'm convinced that there's no God because Amy Schumer is still alive and Norm Macdonald is dead. That doesn't convince you people that are on the fence. I don't know what does.
Man, I mean, to be honest, dude, I was never all that much of a Norm Macdonald fan. I mean, my favorite role of his is the friend in Billy Madison. Well, I saw Dirty Work, too. That was a pretty decent movie. But, man, his humor was so dry. But, man, as soon as he died, everyone was fucking sucking this dude's dick like they've been long-term fans of this dude and had been talking about him for years.
Well, as a long-term fan, I want to go off on some of the people that are doing that. Warren Michaels, in particular, the guy that fired Norm Macdonald, is now pretending to be sad about him dying.
Oh, yeah, there was a bunch of bad blood about that, huh? I remember that being a fucking thing.
Yeah. You fired Norm because he was too funny, which had really, in turn, only made him more famous. So, fuck you, Warren Michaels, and fuck Saturday Night Live. You haven't been funny in, 20 years. The last time you were funny, I was a fetus.
Every once in a while, they'll have, a decent bit here and there, but, I mean, I don't see something funny from him even every year. Oh yeah, and Norm Macdonald played the pigeon on Mike Tyson on the Mike Tyson Mysteries.
Fucking awesome. He also got kicked off The View for saying that Bill Clinton killed some interns. That guy just rules all the way around, really. I love Norm Macdonald, and I'm very upset that he's dead.
Yeah, it does suck, man. Well, so besides that, how's your week been, bro?
Pretty good. I got an offer from a buddy of mine. He's gonna stake me in a poker game, and shit like that will do a lot to your ego, man. When somebody feels so confident in my game that they're willing to actually invest real money into me, it feels pretty good, man.
Oh. So have you been crunching the numbers a little bit harder? Have you been a little bit more reliable with your takes on things?
Yeah, I mean, the part of my problem is I know when a hand is not good. I'm very good at identifying that. But there's certain people that are just made of money that I always want to get one time. And you realize that you can never get these people because whatever bet you throw out, whatever line you do, no matter how you play the hand, they're going to call you till the end.
Huh. Interesting. So now that you're getting staked for this game, well, like you said, I guess that is a kind of a big ego boost. I mean, that's been a big time hobby of yours since I've known you anyway, to see that someone's that you're up in your game and people are willing to throw in with you. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I went from thinking ace-6 offsuit was a good hand to now I have an investor in my game. So I'm feeling pretty confident. I play on Thursday. That's when the plan starts. And hopefully it goes well.
Well, my week has been fairly mundane, although I have been getting slightly annoyed at people because I kind of keep some strange company these days of people I normally wouldn't hang out with. And I don't know, when you hang out with sexual deviants, it's really weird when people act like they're being all edgy and fun because they're weird sexual deviants. It's it's not anything special or whatever. And I've been around some people that I guess that's their identity or something like that. Like they don't have any other character traits, so they just act like that being a freak is all fun and edgy or something. I don't know what it was about last week, but I was just so fucking annoyed by that.
Adam, you can just say women, buddy. That's a lot of words to say women. I don't know what you
What's
mean.
funny is it's not even broads. Like normally, I just be default annoyed with women because of all like obnoxious ways they operate, but that just has not been the case. Ah. Although you would think that would be well, yeah. But either way, oh yeah, I did buy a membership to a nudist colony. Like I've been just kind of hanging out, and I'm actually like a member now, so I can just kind of like show up there 24/7, like whenever. It's actually kind of cool.
You have to be a member?
You don't have to be a member, but there are perks to being a member. So it's actually not bad. It's like right down the street from where I stay, man. Like if anything, it's useful just to have that 24/7 access to a hot tub. Like
It sounds fun, but I would probably see a lot of things that I don't want to see.
oh yeah, you definitely would, man. You definitely would. I was locked up for a minute. I've been able to just block out seeing a bunch of dicks. I've seen so many penises in my lifetime. It put everyone to shame, and you just get used to it. And like I don't know, so it's like I have like a selective blinder for unattractive nudity. I can just like block it out of my mind, and it doesn't bother me.
Well, penis blinder, we got the name for the episode already. That's great.
This blinder. But let's get into the show, man. What's the first thing that you're bringing in this week, dude?
I'm gonna play Guess the Outlet, our favorite game.
Okay.
The headline is Studies show that countries that oppress women are not doing well economically.
I'm just gonna say CNN. That sounds like some CNN shit.
It is not CNN. It's a new publication never brought into the show before. The Economist.
The Economist is reporting on that. Oh, they're usually pretty good at staying apolitical. That's well, and it's not like they're saying anything that people didn't already fucking know.
Well, there's a lot of numbers in terms of what the economies are in places like Afghanistan and Iraq and Somalia. But numbers are gay and boring, so I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to talk about how they totally missed the point that the reason that all these countries they mention are doing poorly is because it's all of the places that have dictatorships, and we, America, try to rebelize and rebuild the country. That's what they're missing from this whole thing. The reason Afghanistan isn't doing well is because we were over there for 15 plus years blowing shit up.
Yeah, I'm sure that doesn't help. Well, I mean, who's on their list anyway? Are they listed Saudi Arabia and shit like that?
Ironically, that is not the one that's listed. I wonder why. But
oh yeah, is it because they're on what is? Isn't Saudi Arabia also on like the Committee for Women's Issues in the United Nations or some bullshit like that?
yeah, they are. But the Taliban is on it now. That's what's most important, Adam.
Oh my god. Yeah, the so the shrieking around the whole women's issue thing has been really funny because like what's okay, so there were some internal memos that got leaked about basically how some of the intelligence agencies were going to try to keep us fighting this war forever, and one of them was to try to sway public opinion by talking about like all these women's rights issues because they thought that would actually play. And they were still trying this shit as best as they could as we were pulling out, trying to play at the heartstrings to keep this war going for fucking ever. And that's pretty funny that is a glow in the dark ploy that these motherfuckers are trying. They're trying anything to keep on fighting that fucking war.
I mean, I hate the government more than I do the Taliban, so I'm always gonna side with whoever is up against the government because I see them as the most evil entity on the planet.
Yeah, it's really easy to hate our government quite a bit. Man, it seems like they can't help but piss people off. Like every once in a blue moon, they'll do something right, but there's so many obvious right choices that you know they're just not gonna do. It's like people have gotten used to not having nice things. Like it is pretty sad.
And if you're
Uh,
listening to this and you're on the phone, you're gonna call into our voicemail line and say, "Oh, my America, you can't hate America. America is the greatest." Just talk to a government worker, have one conversation with the government worker, and you'll do a whole 360 on that ideology.
Actually, my challenge to the people listening is to call in. Actually, call in with the worst fucking like government employee stories you have because I've had to deal with some government employees that have fucking boiled my piss, and I'm sure everybody has a story like that. So please call in at 281-747-6015 and tell us why you give a shit about government workers sucking.
Well, I have a great one. I know we're getting slightly off topic here, but when my caseworker changed, because the one I had for a long time left, she didn't bother to read my file, so I had to answer 45 minutes of questions that were just retarded, which opened with, "Why can't you walk?"
Oh wow. Dude, so I still have to tell the government from time to time that I'm still a felon. They'll send
No.
me dude, it's fucking stupid. I get these fucking jury summons in the mail and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still a felon. Uh can't be on a jury. Thanks again." Like I've had to do it like 3 times. You'd think that it's not like that fucking changes. It's not like you're going to magically be able to walk. Like you'd think that they'd have some sort of permanency in some of their shit.
You know
Or
what?
at
I
least,
was so
you know.
happy about the news that I got a new caseworker that I just jumped out of bed this morning.
Oh, you did a Grandpa Joe from fucking Charlie in the Chocolate Factory because you got a new government employee to look over your case. Yeah, God. Oh, but, so okay, so the Economist, fuck. All right, yeah, we did get off in the weeds. So the Economist writes this fucking article about like how women doing or countries that treat women like shit are doing poor economically when really it's because we came in and fucking wrecked shop. That's the point of what you're trying to get at. Am I tracking that right?
Yeah, they're leaving it out that all these countries are war torn because we got involved in these pointless wars that we were obviously never going to win from the start of. And I think for that reason, it's a pretty poorly written article because they're not, looking at all the angles.
I'm surprised they didn't go down that angle, man. You'd think that they would.
And also, what I've noticed about this in the comments on Twitter is the double-edged sword of liberalism, where they have to be like, not all Muslims, but they also don't want to recognize that most of these misogynist practices, as they would call them, root in the religion itself.
Yeah, dude, the way that played out was really strange to me. Like seeing these feminists like really try to back all these Muslim countries and shit, whereas like it was really strange that they would try to align themselves with Islam at all. You'd think they'd fucking hate them.
And they're simping for the Islamists who have like 8 wives and they still can't get laid at them. It's hilarious.
That's fucking funny. Okay. And, oh, that's why the joke about Islam being right about women is so funny because they don't know how to cope with that. That's that. Oh my god! And their approach to it is a real big who gives a shit because you phrase it like that, it's like they're trying to find me to find ways to give less of a shit.
Well, I already don't give a shit about the whole Afghan conflict, so I don't even know what they're trying to do. It's like, yeah, no shit. Taliban controlled Afghanistan. Isn't it good for women? Wow, thanks for inviting me, The Economist.
Yeah, this is kind of what Captain Blackbread was talking about, where he was just tired of people talking about the fucking Afghan war, like how it's still hitting the news cycle when there's nothing to write about or say, really. Like, they
It's a
wanted to
bigger
make this
cult
thing.
from journalists than learn to code, which I didn't think they would ever go beyond that, to be honest.
Yeah, that is pretty fucking. Yeah, that is pretty fucking stupid. But, well, let's get into one of the things that I'm going to talk about this week. So, when I was first pitching this concept for Who Gives a Shit, and we were still trying to figure it out. I got in a personal conversation with a friend of mine, and it took this dude forever to remember what the fuck we were talking about, because he brought up something that was the exact wrong thing for the show. But that's what I'm bringing in. And that is blueberry picking Polish road whores, dude. These whores are amazing. The more I read about them, the more I really like them. They're forest whores, dude. They live in the forest. They pick blueberries, and they go out to the side of the road, and then you can go off and fuck them in the forest, and they'll give you blueberries. Sounds
You're
amazing.
right about that, buddy. If your article has the word whore in it, chances are I'm going to give a shit about it.
It took him forever to actually find the article itself, but this is what the article headline is: Polish prostitutes meet the forest whores outside of Warsaw.
Don't mind if I do.
And on top of that, the reason these whores are out in the forests and out on the roads and shit like that is because if you report your job as being a prostitute inside the city limits of Warsaw, they make you like jump through all these fucking hoops and shit. But if you just do it outside of city limits, then you don't have to pay taxes.
And they don't pay taxes. Adam, I think I'm in love with these women already. Where can you find them?
There's something about forest whores that just sound way better than all these concrete whores that you're used to seeing. Concrete whores, man, they're dead inside. Forest whores, they're full of life, man.
Absolutely. And then now I'm going to tell you people to stop starting forest fires. Not because of the environment. I don't give a shit about the environment. But don't kill these whores.
Yeah, like, it's fun. I've loved talking about these whores since I remembered to talk about them again. Because the more I muse about these whores, the more I wish that our whores could learn a little thing from these Polish forest whores, man. Because they go out and forage and actually like provide a service. They're sticking it to the man while still being off the grid. And I mean, just everything about it is great. And on top of that, these are like, Eastern Bloc sort of like Donald Trump, I'll tell you what, can really pick some whores. And this is about the area where he picked his whores out from. And regardless of what you say about this man, search your feelings and know this. This dude knows his whores more than anybody else. So if it's good enough for Donald Trump when it comes to whoring, it should be good enough for literally anyone.
I mean, I often apply the art of the deal to ordering prostitutes. I don't know if anyone else does that, but yeah, these women sound awesome, buddy. Where is there like a forest brothel? How do they operate?
Dude, they're just out in the woods and they like hang out on the sides of the streets and shit like that. And so they have like little areas off in the forest that they set up in. Now, when I first heard about this shit, I thought it wasn't real and that someone was fucking with me. But no, I found, I know my own Polacks, and they have confirmed that yes, these are in fact real whores that live in the forest.
Well, I guess dreams really do come true, Adam, because it sounds just like a wet dream that I would
have. Like, I'll tell you what it reminds me of, man. It reminds me of the Ren Fair. Because they're like the Rennies, they live like kind of like in tents off in the woods too. And in the Ren Fair, you don't necessarily have prostitutes, but you do have a lot of hoes. And forest hoes are pretty fun. I gotta admit, way better than normal hoes.
And that's why you go to music festivals in the first place for the forest hoes, right?
Basically, yeah. I think any dude out there has admitted that they have wanted to try, or that they have hit on a forest hoe at some point or another. But imagine if you could just pay them off and get your business done and then come out smelling like an Irish Spring or something because you're in some Pollock forest. Like everything about this just sounds great. I mean, and like magical. Imagine going, wandering off into the forest and finding like the conclave alcove of prostitutes that lives out there, dude. It'd be fucking amazing.
Alright, Adam, fuck The Hobbit, fuck Harry Potter. I'm making a magical adventure movie about these Polish forest whores.
And you know, so when I first told my friend about this, about the concept of the show, you know, I forget that every once in a while we do bring in things that we really care about, and I'm not even like a partaker of prostitutes. I just like that they exist. Like they just sound better, and in every which way. So
Absolutely, you don't have to worry about getting shot by a gangbanger in the forest. I'm all for this, Adam.
But oh man, I think I've mused enough about these wonderful, wonderful horrors. So that would get us to somewhere around the midpoint of the episode, roughly. So which brings us to our voicemails. So we got one voicemail this week, and if you want to give us a call us at 281-747-6015 and tell us who gives a shit. Also tell us your terrible stories about fucking government workers. Here is our voicemail of the week.
You know what? Who gives a shit about sandwiches most of the time? Well, I do. And let me tell you why. Because you make them yourself, fucking great. Fantastic. It's a sandwich. Someone else makes it for you. Great. Fucking fantastic. You get one from the store, pre-made. No sauce. Well, what fucking gives? You know they're going to toss that shit out at the end of the day anyway. Does it really fucking hurt to put a little extra mayonnaise or something in there? Mustard? Fucking anything at all. I'm sick and tired of fucking dry-ass sandwiches from the store. And at my work, it's no better. It's a fucking gamble. Sometimes some of them have sauce. Sometimes, most of the time, not. And so you end up just like fucking squishing it around in your mouth so you can get the bread wet enough to actually slide down your throat. And what a pain in the ass. So this isn't a who gives a shit segment. This is an I give a shit. Fuck you, anybody that makes a sandwich with no fucking sauce. This has been Captain Blackbread speaking, in case anybody forgot.
I agree with you 100%. I sit with you in solidarity, Captain Blackbread. I too love sandwiches. And the fact that women can't make sandwiches anymore is already sad enough. But now I'm starting to see men not being able to make a sandwich. And I really don't know where this country is headed. But it's not a good place.
Man, I hear what he's saying though. Like, the only time I've ever gotten shitty sandwiches are from like a gas station or like another store from somewhere. Every once in a while, like I'll get a shitty sandwich that's like from some catering company or something like that. It's like you got to work to fuck up a sandwich, but yeah, people find a way. I mean, and it's not like they don't keep, like everyone has them for lunch. They keep for the bed, like for a day at least.
And yeah, I was going to say the one bad sandwich I had, I don't know what it is with gas station sandwiches, but they somehow make lunch meat taste more processed than it already is. I don't know how that's even possible, But I've never had a good gas station sandwich ever.
I've had like a couple, but it's usually miss. Now, like there was a local Target where I was growing up that actually made good sandwiches where you could like go in there and buy a sandwich and it was actually good. And it stood out enough that I remember that being unique anyway. And, I guess it's almost like they got to make the bread out of fucking plastic if they don't want it to get all soggy or something. Like, if they know it's not going to work, they should just not sell them. At least that would make sense.
Well, this has been a mini episode of Who Gives a Seinfeld. in which we give our take on sandwiches. Boom, ba-dum, boom, boom. Boom, boom, ba-dum, boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, 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 doo-doo-doo.
Right. Well, let's get back to the show. So what's the last thing you're bringing in this week, CJ?
This is it's a Twitter moment, so I'm not going to do guess the headline, but it just says, thousands of people gather around the 9/11 memorial for the 20th anniversary. And I know exactly the type of people who give a shit about this, and it's why I call 9/11 National Make a Plane Crash About You Day. Because that's all it is. People want to tell you where they were when 9/11 happened. Oh, I know it's a terrible tragedy that 9/11 happened, but let me tell you about this time that my girlfriend dropped the root beer that she was getting me because she was so shocked when she saw the first tower fall. That's really what it is. And I'm just bored of 9/11. It's 20 years old, dude. Move on.
This was a weird 9/11 because we were finally out of Afghanistan. And some people were trying to make an issue of it. And in my mind, I'm like, this should be like one of the first times where it is really okay to not make a big deal about it. And about time.
Now, there might be some international listeners who don't know what 9/11 is, but 9/11 was a terrible tragedy that gave Pete Davidson a career in comedy. And it's coming up on year 20 now.
Yeah, there's been a couple of people that claim to have been in the towers when it hit. There's been a couple of Hollywood types that got canceled over lying about that shit.
Yeah, unfortunately, Seth MacFarlane missed his flight that day. It's probably the only time Booze ever did something bad to anyone.
God. And, well, what's annoyed me about this 9/11 is there's so many firefighter, tearjerker, videos that were, hitting all sorts of feeds all over the place. They were, just shoehorned in there. And I'm like, yeah, I know that a bunch of people died and that they were all scared and shit like that. We get it. I've been here. I'm constantly never forgetting.
This 9/11 was weird for me also because I don't have in-person classes this year. And Adam, I don't know if you remember, did you go to college? You ever go to college?
Yeah.
So, no, because you were in prison, right? This would have to be a time where you were in prison.
Actually, I got a lot of university. I got the better part of an engineering and nursing degree before I ever took sociology in prison. Actually, I got a lot of
Oh, okay. Well, for me, 9/11 was the best day in the world for a college student because you wouldn't actually have any coursework to do for the entire week. You would just show up, and it would be professors up their own ass jerking themselves off about their 9/11 stories. And that would take up the entire class. So,
dude.
It was really awesome, really.
Dude, you threw me down a nostalgic hole right there. I forgot about some of the fucking tirades I've heard about 9/11 from so I had a government teacher that just went off about how everything the United States does is pure cancer when it comes to foreign policy. And it was kind of interesting because up until that point, I really hadn't heard anybody go off like that. I've heard people be kind of critical, but not to the point where they're like, nah, fuck everybody. That was actually kind of interesting. And it ate up the whole fucking class, and we didn't learn a damn thing.
Yeah, it's great. But you're a teacher, so no one gives a shit what you're saying already. But if you can just go on and make yourself feel better about the day and not give me homework, I'm all for it.
Yeah, no shit, right? But so I didn't really have anybody say anything about 9/11 when it was going on. And actually, thankfully, I'm really glad that I'm not involved in any social medias and shit like that, because I know that there'd be someone that's fucking pestering me about it. And I'm like, I just wasn't in the mood.
Ben Shapiro talked about 9/11. Surprise, surprise.
Oh yeah. What do you have to say about it?
He actually said that it was pathetic that Joe Biden withdraw the troops because 9/11 is the reason that we should be there still.
Oh man, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
It's like, look, 9/11
in.
happened, so we have to rule Afghanistan until World War VII, the undoing. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, don't you know, Adam? 3,000 stockbrokers died, so now we have to kill an entire generation of Americans over oil and opium.
Yeah, and just, I mean, that place is just such a shit show. Like, people have been fighting over it forever, and the terrain is fucking ass. So, like, of course it was going to be like a complete shit show. And my stance is that we should have just got the fuck out of there as soon as we popped Osama bin Laden. That was the whole point. And if you're not going to actually stay committed to like completely dismantle some shit, the international community is going to have a real issue with us doing, by the way, then why are you even over there? Just so that you can constantly keep Raytheon's coffers full? Like, so much of that shit was just a waste of time.
Well, I, for one, am sad that we left Afghanistan. Everyone's talking about the troops and the refugees, but no one is thinking about the military contractors and how broke they are. Why don't you just think about them for the change? They have families, too. They need to put food on the table.
Yeah, we only dropped one Moab over there. Can you fucking believe that shit? We should have had none left, and they should have had orders for like shiploads of Moabs that we could just drop all over the mountainside. That's exactly what should have been done with all our tax dollars to make sure that, you know, the world is protected for whatever.
Congratulations, troops. We got you out, and you're not dying anymore, but Dick Cheney's pocket is empty now. I hope you feel good about yourself for what you've done. He can't even buy his golden retriever dog food anymore because we're not at war.
And also, I'm not. Whenever people say never forget 9/11, I mean, I don't. I remember what was going on when all that happened, and I also remember when the Patriot Act got signed. I was like 16 at the time, and I knew that when that bill got signed, that this was bad, that this wasn't going to end very well.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to forget about 9/11 because, like you said, firefighters and cops will just remind you about it every 30 seconds. But, yeah, you really shouldn't give a shit about 9/11. It's old news. It's almost old enough to drink already, so...
It'll be nice whenever we can truly just forget about it altogether, when all the fun things and all the laws that had changed to invade everyone's privacy go away and resemble something like before then. But that's, we know that's not going to fucking happen. So we can,
you know what?
About that.
People love to be attention whores, so I'm going to start a new trend, Adam. 9/14. Yeah. Never forget the day that Norm Macdonald died. Call in and tell us where you were when Norm Macdonald died.
Oh, yeah, that is sad that the dude died. It is sad, too, because if he had died on 9/11 and that totally, like, trended over everything else, that would have been so funny.
Well, he got to enjoy one last 9/11 with the people he loved. So, that's good.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Oh, man. Fuck.
I'll tell you what, though, this is my last thing on 9/11. There's some really good memes, particularly the old O&A one where Hulk Hogan is giving a boot to the first tower.
Oh, man. There are some some classic ones, man. One of the funniest ones I ever saw was old PSP, and like it does this thing where the disc spins up so fucking fast it goes poof, and shoots out the top of the thing. So the PSP disc goes poof, shoots out the top and blows up the Twin Towers, and fucking Will Smith is like dancing on top of it the whole time it's falling.
Also,
Like,
shout out to
and how sensitive people try to be about this shit too is fucking weird, dude. Because so many people that are memeing on this shit, they weren't even alive when it fucking happened. Like they give a shit.
Oh yeah, I really do think that 9/11 is the new Holocaust, except it's not just for Jews. It's for everyone that lives here, and we're gonna hear about 9/11 for like the next.
Depending on who you talk to, it's not.
300
There were no
years.
Jews in it at all. I've heard that one. Oh man. Well, actually, out of all the stuff that's happened with 9/11, that is the best shit that's come out of it. Is all the conspiracy theories, dude? Because man, there's a lot of them, and God, people will go off into the weeds about talking about this shit. It was one of my favorite things to do when I was locked up. By the way, was argue with people about the Twin Towers.
Dude, Jesse Ventura basically canned his whole career over the 9/11 conspiracy.
Yeah, that's not that hard to do, and well, but what's weird is yeah, it should be because he's all about going off on conspiracies anyway. He's always been that way.
But he's got the dumbest one, which is that Tower 7 was demolished, like it was a planned demolition because of the way it fell.
Yeah, that's a really dumb take. Like, okay, a lot of these claims are pretty easy to dismantle, and so there was a book that was all about just debunking some of the myths around all the 9/11 conspiracies. It was by Popular Mechanics, and it was a really good jumping off point to basically to look at the actual architecture and all this, like from an engineering standpoint, what these people were claiming, if it made any sense. And man, a lot of shit that does not hold water very well. But I'm also arguing with morons that believe that the Aztecs had a time machine and shit like that. So, I mean, it's not like it was that hard to argue these dudes under the table. But man, they would go off on. Actually, it's harder to debunk the ridiculous shit that they said, like the real ridiculous shit, because they would hold to it so steadfast and it's so divorced from reality, you can't even get a finger hold to try to make them make any sense.
The best 9/11 talk that I ever had, I still remember it to this day. It was, and I'm doing it now. I'm doing what the 9/11 people are doing, but it was a guy that was a flat earther who had previously told me that airplanes don't exist, and it's all just how we live.
Okay. So airplanes are a fucking conspiracy?
Yeah. I thought he was gonna go the chemtrail route, but no. The entire airplane and everyone in it is just a hologram.
So if you're on an airplane, that's all like an elaborate set to make you think that airplanes are real, like it's an episode of Lupin the Third or something like that?
Well, the way he described it was, it's just like a roller coaster ride that's really advanced.
Wow. That's a hell of a conspiracy,
he didn't say like how people got to other places. Like he didn't even explain that even. So I just remember it being the funniest thing in the world. But this guy also thought that 9/11 was a demolition plan, which was really weird to me because how would the towers fall if airplanes don't exist?
You know exactly. Look, jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. Research Tower 7. Do your research. The cloud people definitely did 9/11. Or wait, no, sorry. It's the Jewish reptilians from the Hollow Earth did 9/11.
Oh man. Yeah, really the only thing that I care about 9/11 still is like the Alex Jonesian type people that are ranting and raving about all these theories that you can disprove in 15 seconds.
Yeah. And man, it is weird that 9/11 was 20 years ago. Because I mean, it's been going on for the majority of my life, and now that shit's over and going on to some other fucking pointless war. Let's see, like,
Oh, I want you to know too, Adam, that I would have stopped 9/11 if I was on that plane. Fetus CJ would just run over the terrorist with a wheelchair. So they're lucky I wasn't there.
oh fuck. Well, let's get into the last thing that I'm talking about this week, and we get to play our favorite game, Guess the Outlet. So this is one that I have brought in before. Here's the headline: Lingerie model marries herself to preach self-love. Quote, I wasn't ashamed. All right, who do you what outlet would publish something like that?
That sounds real BuzzFeedy to me.
You think
BuzzFeed,
it's
I'm
in
going.
the same veins, the New York Post.
Oh, wow.
And oh man, there's so much to say about this fucking broad. Like, oh, so right off the bat, nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. Like, this is just some thirsty chick trying to get some attention.
This just in, New York Post headline, Instagram model is obsessed with herself.
Yeah, yeah, like go figure. Hold on one second, CJ. Let me show you a picture of this broad. All right, bam, there. I just sent you this. So, do you think that she needs to marry herself? You think she's having trouble finding attention?
Oh, wow. Yeah, she's a really ugly Adam. She's just as big as a blimp. And she'll never find a husband with those big, beautiful tits. I mean, it's over for her. Dude.
So this chick is a lingerie model and looks like it too. Like, this chick is smoking stupid hot. But she's like, and so she decides that she's going to marry herself. And so this adds another letter to the letter people, CJ. S. Do you know what S stands for?
Self-sexual?
Sologamy. Like monogamy or hypergamy, it's sologamy, where you were going to marry yourself.
I don't know if you remember, but Dennis Rodman did this way back in the 90s.
Oh, God. He did, didn't he?
Yeah, dress and everything.
Even back then, when Dennis Rodman was in his prime, I thought that was just like a pointless cry for attention.
Yeah, so Dennis Rodman and this bitch are proud solo monogamists, I guess.
Oh my God. Well, okay. So the reason I was saying that there's so many things wrong with this is, okay, so for one, it's annoying because you know this is a pointless cry for attention. Two, this really gets in my heckles beyond account that this is just another pointless reason for some chick to throw a party and waste a bunch of money. Like, I don't know what is with what's with like women and wanting to do this, but this is something that they just love to do is just like have a party for any good reason they can try to make an excuse for. So that's annoying.
Also, I want to add.
It's like
I want to add to this. Fuck you, New York Post, for publishing this, because you're giving her the attention, and all that's going to do is make this a trend, and it is going to actually be on the Alphabet People flag, and there's going to be people arguing about it on Twitter. So fuck you, New York Post.
So this is not a new phenomenon, actually. People have been trying to get this to take off the ground for what it seems to be about 5 years now. That I really first started seeing people talk about this when I was diving back trying to find how much I could give less of a shit. And that's why I first started seeing this, and it's. Thankfully, I think it is so on the nose about being narcissistic that I don't think it's going to happen. I think we might be able to dodge the bullet on this. But if you got like random hot chicks doing it, I don't know, people tend to simp and follow the trend when it comes to that type of shit. So I could see maybe flaring up a little bit.
So my guess is, I do believe this is going to take off, and I'll tell you why. My guess is that people that did this in the past 5 years are just fat farm animals, and nobody cares about those. But when a hot chick does something, then it starts to become a trend. So I do think this is going to take off. But I hope you're right. I
know, to me it's so weird. Because it's like people couldn't give less of a shit about what hot chicks are into, because everyone knows that hot chicks are into dumb shit. But at the same time, shit that they're into tends to take off because people want to follow around the hot chicks. It's really fucking weird, man.
Yeah, dude. I mean, there's a lot of people that think if you do what hot chicks like, that's how you get laid. It's actually the opposite. But I could really see this becoming a thing.
Oh, God, I hope not, man. Like... Okay, and here's why not. I have gotten very annoyed when people act like me coming to one of their parties is like if I'm expected to do that. It's like, especially weddings, man. Lately, since I've gotten out of prison, anytime there's been a wedding, I've been fucking annoyed. Where I'm like, don't expect me to go, and don't you dare fucking treat me like an asshole if I say no. In fact, you should just let me opt out. Where really I have to opt in. That's how you should do it. You should just throw it out there that you're getting married, and if you want to go, you should be like, hey, me, not don't make me an asshole by not going.
Oh, dude, so you can't go to weddings because you're on parole?
Dude, if that's what I have to tell them to not go, then yeah. Because I hate them, dude. I really don't like them.
You're making a real convincing argument to becoming a prisoner, man. If that'll get me out of
that's not even the case, but shit. I'll lie what the fuck ever. Like, since I've been out of prison, I've been to one good wedding, and that's because they actually had an open bar, and everyone was getting sauced, and they had, like, unlimited barbecue and shit like that, and these are actually, like, kind of fun people that weren't all stiffy and shit like that. And because they covered all the shit that mattered out, yeah, that was fine. It still ate up a fucking weekend of mine, but you know that's kind of whatever. But
I get
angrier
than a feminist when I'm at a wedding, because when you're at a wedding, and especially in the church part, when they're going to the whole holy matrimony speech, I'm just thinking to myself, motherfucker, why don't I have legs so I can just get out of here? What the fuck? It's weddings are terrible, man. And I'm glad that you reject most of the invitations you get, because really, if you invite anyone to a wedding, that's not your friend, that's your enemy. That's what you should be doing. Because a good friend would not force one to go to their wedding.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I've never been married, and like, it always seemed like a very weird ritual to me. And the way that people get about them is really strange as well. And on top of that, this weird solo wedding shit, like, this bitch isn't just gonna immediately drop it if some, like, billionaire boyfriend comes out of the woodworks or some shit like that. Like, it doesn't mean anything. I don't even think it can be legally binding. That would be so weird that you would have to go, like, if you had to go through some legal process so you could free yourself up to get married again, even if that was a thing, which it's not. That's another thing that's annoying about this, is that they just made shit up. Like, it's so fucking dumb. I mean, at least when Dennis Rodman did it, it was an obvious ploy for attention, because the dude's a celebrity. And now they got Instagram models that think they're a celebrity, so that they think they can do this shit. When, thankfully, that does not look like the case. Pretty much everyone has thought this was fucking retarded.
Well, sweetheart, when your tits get saggy, all cottage cheesy in about 15 years... getting married to yourself is not going to pay the bills, so I can't imagine that this will last very long.
Yeah, probably not going to go very far. A odd little curio to show off to people. You're like, oh, this is when I was a really dumb bitch and I had dumb bitch syndrome. Oh, fuck. Well, you want to get into our favorite segment of the show?
Let's do it, buddy.
All right, we're getting into Catch a Redditor. So let's do one about this Sologamy.
From r/nottheonion. 3 thumbs up writes, aren't there tax benefits to marriage in the States? Seems very unfair to those who prefer to be single or can't find anyone to marry. Vote for Knife Party writes, this really isn't that unprecedented. Married men have been having lifelong, passionate affairs with themselves via hand for decades.
Okay, so... Oh man. Okay. So first off, someone took this seriously. They ate the onion. They ate the onion in r/nottheonion, which is
yeah. I do see this as a real fat bitch cope. Oh, I'm not married because I'm 500 pounds. It's because I'm a solo wigamist. I love myself so much.
Oh my god. So let's see what Reddit had to say about 9/11. Oh man, this was a fucking thing. This was fun. This was fun to look up, dude. Jesus.
From r/askreddit, Sconestown Massacre writes, we don't need this question 1,000 times again today. A world exists outside of America, many parts of it fucked up by America. Your foreign citizen body count dwarfs the victims of 9/11 attacked by the hundreds of thousands. America's victim complex is a total lie.
Man, that sounds like some cope that they're not living in fucking America where we might not be the most intelligent, but man, we smart as fucking get fucked, nerd. Wish you could be in a fucking American.
Yeah, have fun getting stoned to death for having an opinion.
Yeah, no shit, right? Better watch yourself out there. Hope your foreign policy isn't going to bite you in the ass later. All right. Speaking of that, let's see what I have to say about these Afghan women and the economy.
From r/2x chromosomes, Magus503 writes, there are people on 4chan that send info about Afghan cam girls to Talibans. Alexis JM writes, all around the world, the U.S. has squelched popular progressive governments in favor of dictators who'd act to protect the U.S. business interests. It hasn't worked out well. CMAJ7 writes, yeah, but this really isn't an example of that. There was no popular or progressive government before U.S. intervention.
Well, listen, I had no idea that the Taliban was the Afghan branch of the Proud Boys, but I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. And you got people sitting there thought patrolling the Afghan women. I was more surprised when I was like, wait a minute, there's cam whores in Afghanistan? I would think that you wouldn't sign up for that job just in case. It's not like you didn't know these dudes were coming back.
Oh, yeah, baby. Take that burqa off. Let me see those pixels.
Oh, fuck. All right, so let's see. This is about the Polish forest whores. Let's see what Red has to say about them.
From r/Poland, Boring Pony writes, I, for one, welcome our new Polish prostitute overlords. Tristan379 writes, Poland has the best prostitutes. I fucked plenty in London. Hope one is your wife someday, fag. 500 mil get. Operate writes, anyone who downvoted this doesn't get the joke. This was the 500 millionth post on 4chan.
Oh, 4chan.
This might be controversial, Adam. This might be the most controversial thing I've ever said on this show. But I, Cripple Jesus of Who Gives a Shit, am pro forest whore. That is my position that I'm taking.
Yeah, I'm pro forest whore too, man. Like this is anyone that doesn't like forest whores, fucking get at me. See, like I'll fight you over this shit. I don't give a fuck. I think forest whores are badass.
You can take our lives, but you'll never take our forest whores.
Right. Oh. All right. So we're getting towards the end of the show here. So, everyone, thanks for listening. Also, go check out our shit on Patreon at patreon.com/WGA shit show. We have a special episode up with myself and Rabbit. It's free to everyone. Just go to the Patreon. It's there. Also, follow us at WGA shit show. Also check out, our friend Rich, or Rim, on the Rich Dickman show. Fantastic show. richdickman.com, patreon.com/richdickman. And, you got anything you want to plug there, CJ?
Yes, I want to plug a YouTube channel called Not the Norm. And all they do is upload Norm Macdonald clips. And I have been watching it for the past 2 hours or so. So if you love Norm like I do, it's a great channel. But if you're not familiar with the works of Norm Macdonald, I would recommend that you check it out. It's a great YouTube channel. Not the Norm is what it's called.
Well, I guess everyone catch up on your Norm Macdonald clips. Well, I mean, really, that's all I got for y'all this week. See ya.
Stay horny, everyone.